In the manicured stillness of Willow Creek, a gated enclave of wealth and whispers, a 14-year-old boy named Ethan Caldwell stood on his driveway, his pale green eyes glinting with unearned authority. "You better have this car ready by 7:15 sharp every morning," he snapped, pointing at my cherry-red Mustang, a defiant splash of color amid the neighborhood's beige sedans. "And keep the seat warmer on medium." His words, delivered with the casual cruelty of youth, hung in the air like a challenge. Marcus Reynolds, a 52-year-old black man in a tailored suit, stood beside my car, arms crossed, not in anger but in stunned disbelief. As the new principal of Crestwood Academy, I had moved here to understand my students' world. I hadn't expected a war. Willow Creek, with its white picket fences and suffocating HOA rules, was a microcosm of privilege. I had anticipated subtle slights, hesitant nods, forced smiles, but not this. Ethan, with his shock of sandy hair, saw my skin, my car, and my presence in this neighborhood, and concluded I was his driver. The audacity was breathtaking, a racism so ingrained it felt like a fact to him. I could have corrected him, flashed my principal's badge, but a spark of strategy ignited. I smiled, slow and deliberate. "I'll be here," I said. This boy, in his ignorance, was about to hand me the keys to his world. The next morning, at 7:14, my Mustang's engine roared to life, shattering the suburb's sterile quiet. I pulled up to Ethan's house, seat warmer on medium, and watched him stride out, backpack slung carelessly, as if the universe owed him this ride. He tossed his bag onto my leather seats and jabbed at the stereo, muttering, "This thing's ancient." I drove, silent, letting him talk. And talk he did. Over days, the car became a confessional. Ethan bragged about teachers he manipulated, Mr. Hargrove, who'd bump grades for donations, Ms. Ellison, whose tests were hacked online. He sneered at scholarship kids, calling them brochure props who didn't belong. Each word was a data point, revealing Crestwood's rot, a culture where money erased consequences. I wasn't just a driver, I was a spy. As principal, I knew the school's entrenched faculty and wealthy board resisted change. Ethan's rants exposed their weaknesses. He mocked the retired principal's failed crackdown on cheating, hinting at deeper corruption. I filed it all away, my rage banked behind a neutral mask. But the real revelation came when I dug into Ethan's school file. It was pristine, perfect grades, glowing reviews, no infractions. It was a lie. Digging deeper, I found the former principal's hidden server files, labeled Digital Concerns. There, I uncovered Ethan's empire, the Legacy Circle, a secret online forum where elite students spewed hate, shared stolen tests, and bullied the vulnerable. Ethan wasn't just a member, he was the mastermind. The forum was a cesspool. They mocked scholarship students with cruel memes, doxed rivals, and posted slurs that stung even my seasoned eyes. But Ethan's true power lay in blackmail. A private subforum held dirt on his pure screenshots of cheating, hateful chats ensuring their silence. He even blackmailed a young Spanish teacher, Mr. Vargas, with a leaked complaint, securing A's for his clique. The final blow was a chat log where Ethan coached a friend to frame a black scholarship student for a fake hate crime to get him expelled. This wasn't just bullying, it was a criminal conspiracy. Ethan wasn't a spoiled kid. He was a spider, and Crestwood was his web. The first clash came unexpectedly. One morning, a traffic snag made us 7 minutes late. Ethan stormed out, fuming, as if I betrayed a sacred pact. 2 hours later, my secretary buzzed, voice tight. "Mrs. Caldwell is here, sir. She's furious about her son's ride." I stood at my office window, overlooking Crestwood's ivy-clad quad, and braced myself. The door slammed open. "This is unacceptable." Laura Caldwell, Ethan's mother, barked, her tennis whites pristine, her voice a whip. "Your driver made my son late. I want him fired." She assumed I was some meek bureaucrat, not the man who'd driven her son that morning. "Fired?" I asked, turning slowly. Her face froze as she recognized me, her worldview crumbling. Confusion gave way to horror as she saw my name on the diplomas behind me. "You're the principal?" she stammered. I gestured to a chair. "Let's discuss your son's transportation." She didn't sit. She fled, heels clacking in retreat. But I knew this wasn't over. Laura returned the next day with her mother, Vivian Caldwell, a silver-haired matriarch in a tweed suit, radiating old money power. She sat, uninvited, and called Ethan's behavior youthful exuberance. I slid a printout across my desk, a racist comment from the Legacy Circle, traced to Ethan's IP. Vivian's composure cracked, not from shame but from the scandal's threat to her family's name. Their response was ruthless. A lawsuit landed, accusing me of emotional distress and entrapment for posing as Ethan's driver. It was a slap suit, meant to bankrupt me with legal fees. Simultaneously, the Willow Creek HOA, a Caldwell puppet, unleashed a barrage of fines. $100 for my car's unapproved red color, $150 for a lawn a quarter-inch too tall, $75 for a displeasing garden hose coil. My neighbors, once cautiously friendly, now avoided me, sensing the proxy war. My home became a battlefield, my energy sapped by endless compliance. But as I stared at yet another fine, fury replaced fatigue. They wanted a war of paper cuts. I'd give them 1,000 in return. The turning point was a garden gnome. One Saturday, I saw my neighbor, Ellen Harper, a widow, arguing with the HOA president, Greg Thornton, over her Nomia memorial to her late husband. He fined her, leaving her humiliated. Her pain mirrored mine. This wasn't just about me. The HOA oppressed anyone who didn't fit its mold. That evening, I visited Ellen, sparking a rebellion. I walked Willow Creek, noting HOA abuses, a repainted mailbox, a removed basketball hoop, a dismantled wheelchair ramp. I connected victims, a young couple fined for a bright swing set, a veteran cited for an oversized flag. We formed the Willow Creek Alliance, a secret chat group mirroring Ethan's forum but for justice. Our coalition grew. Ellen's paralegal daughter, Sarah, uncovered HOA financial fraud shady contracts to Thornton's cronies. A tech-savvy teen, Jake, found legal loopholes in state law. Colonel Barrett, a retired veteran, charted discriminatory fines targeting newer, less wealthy residents. We were no longer alone. We were a force. At Crestwood, Ethan's boldness grew, his forum's hate spilling into real-world vandalism, trash lockers, slashed tires. I needed to act, but exposing the legacy circle risked collateral damage to his victims. I targeted the final piece. Ethan's father, Richard Caldwell, a board trustee, and the family's silent power. I called a disciplinary meeting, vague but mandatory. Richard arrived, a corporate titan annoyed by the interruption. Laura and Ethan flanked him, Ethan smirking. I activated my office monitor, displaying the Legacy Circle's homepage. Ethan's bravado vanished. Laura gasped. Richard's calm cracked as I revealed Ethan's blackmail and the hate crime plot. This crosses into criminal territory, I said. Expulsion begins tomorrow. The police will get a full report unless the lawsuit is dropped, and Ethan enters a therapeutic program I choose. Richard, seeing his son's monstrosity, agreed. The lawsuit vanished by day's end. The HOA battle climaxed at the annual meeting. Our alliance packed the clubhouse, 50 strong. Thornton, smug in his polo shirt, was blindsided when Colonel Barrett moved to amend the agenda, citing bylaws. We voted to oust the board. Sarah exposed Thornton's fraud $20,000 to his brother-in-law's firm, a golf resort fact-finding trip. Jake's PowerPoint showed racial and economic bias and fines, with damning photos of Thornton's own unkempt yard. I spoke last, framing my fines as part of a system that gatekeeps belonging. Who gets to belong? I asked. We all do. The room erupted. The board was ousted in a landslide. A new board as president, Colonel Barrett as treasurer, Sarah as secretary scrapped the HOA's petty rules. Swing sets, gnomes, and flamingos returned, transforming Willow Creek into a vibrant community. Crestwood reformed with a strict honor code. The Caldwells faded, Richard resigned, Laura hid, and Ethan was sent to a therapeutic school. A year later, I planted a defiant flower bed, my Mustang gleaming. Ethan, home briefly, met my gaze across our lawns. His nod was no apology, just acknowledgement. I nodded back and returned to my garden. The fight wasn't just for me. It was for justice, for a community where respect is a right. Willow Creek and Crestwood aren't perfect, but they're healing, proof that solidarity can dismantle even the deepest rot. What do you think? Have you faced bullying or injustice in your life? Should systems like HOAs or schools do more to protect the vulnerable? Share your stance in the comments. I want to hear your voice.